Welcome, everyone, to October 19th. And we are on Wednesday, our weekly Paloma updates from the nest, from the test nest. And I just want to say thank you for all our community members who took time away from purchasing their APT perpetual futures contracts this morning to actually come to our event. Um, and to all those who are overly laden with heavy bags of falling APT, our hearts are with you. Our feathers cover you and give you warmth. It's an exciting time to be in crypto with Aptos launching. So we know that a lot of people are eyes on that. And of course, to all the validators and community members on the Paloma test nest. We do hope that some of you may have collected some APTs if you were able to be participating on the incentivized testnet for Aptos. Unfortunately, Paloma does not have an incentivized testnet. We do not give out incentives for acting as a validator. We do not give out incentives on any of our testnet because we instead give you eggs. And we do hope that you have kept good care of your eggs last week. But we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening this week. So, agenda for today. And with me is, should we call you Field Theory or should we call you by your name? What do you prefer?
Either way is fine.
Okay, we'll call you by Jabai. So Jabai is joining us today, and Vera is here. Cuckoo, Vera, cuckoo. And
Cool.
cool. We're going to talk about the state of Paloma, what the hell is going on, and what the hell is coming, and what has happened this last week. So, and of course, my cool pilots here are welcome to cut me off, and because I know I tend to talk a lot as we go. So, if you're reading the transcript, if you're watching the video, thank you very much for keeping in detail and progress. We progress every week. Big shout out to our audience. I see Nico's here. Nico, I love you, man. I love you. And we see the Saint Game is here. Love you, dude. Bob Mahoff is here. And I see some people who came on and dropped off, but you guys have been on the network. And I'll tell you, Saint Game, that zero point 0.1 ETH, you're going to go buy a Lambo with that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to buy a Lambo and make it work. So let's talk about what happened last week. So last week we did the egg hunt, and it was a massive success. It was very touching to see some community members receive some rotten eggs at the very end. Friday, we ended the egg minting contract, and there were some bad eggs. And some folks were not happy about that. They even put those bad eggs up for sale on OpenSea. So if you go to OpenSea, you'll actually see some rotten eggs sitting there. And they have value. Don't get me wrong, those rotten eggs have a price. Point zero zero, what was it, 0.35 ETH on those rotten eggs. So do not laugh. People have been selling their shit eggs for money. And so we want to just say, our Paloma community of pigeons, do not look at eggs at having zero cost. Eggs cost money, even the bad eggs. So congratulations to everybody who put their eggs up for sale. Remember, it's not an incentivized test net. Congratulations to everybody with their eggs up for sale. Congratulations to those who bought eggs. We even have some investors who got eggs, by the way. So it's very, very cool to see the eggs being distributed. We are looking to do a proposal, a PIP on the eggs. I'm going to tease everyone here and say that there will be a PIP on the eggs. I'm not going to tell you what the PIP's going to be because I don't know who's going to write the PIP, but I'm confident that the community, some anonymous community member, is going to make a proposal to do something with the eggs that were minted in the egg hunt. And I think we're going to look out for that next week. So be prepared. By the way, if you're hearing this for the first time, who the fuck is Paloma? Paloma Ku is a Cosmos SDK chain. It is fast latency validator set of 175 validators, Cosmos-based chain with our own version of our arbitrary logic call relay system that has been built for any EVM currently and any CosmWasm chain as well as Solana. Why is Paloma special? We're really focused on making a fee market for the delivery of messages, a fee market for the delivery of messages, where the validators get paid for sending messages. In the old days, we used to call this was code named FedEx chain because we believe that routing messages fast to anywhere, not just to another crypto endpoint, was important, and that the data center, distributed data center, is a value prop for lowering compute prices. Currently, Paloma is deployed to Ethereum and to Binance Smart Chain, and we're on our 12th version of our testnet. Okay, so we're going to be looking for exploring the eggs that have been in the egg hunt, and seeing how they work with governance, right? And that's going to be some exciting stuff happening next week. Or this week, next week coming, yeah, next week, or between now and next week, anyway. Tomorrow, validators should know that we are going to be looking to have a tag ready and update. So every Thursday, we still continue with our tag schedule for upgrades. So look out tomorrow for upgrades to be ready, or if we slip, we'll let you know. And so what happened last week was, magically enough, we started doing automated gas refunds, right? You're like, Tarek, I'm bored. What do we do here? Why is this chain even special? Last week, we started doing automated gas refunds because the egg minting contract was used to stress test the Paloma network ability to optimize for lowest cost gas on the Ethereum network. All right. Okay, so why did you give us free eggs, Tarek? Well, we gave you guys free eggs because we wanted to see how we could optimize gas efficiency on Ethereum for the remote controlled arbitrary logic calls. And of course, a lot of people found, a lot of folks in the community who were running nodes found that the eggs minting was consuming a lot of gas, right? But we would not have found that on testnet, right? We found it on mainnet. And if you are a validator who still have not been refunded directly for your sacrifice of your gas, please let us know, or your ETH for gas, please let us know. We've gone and made a few pigeons whole. We've gotten their feathers all smoothened out, and they're back in the nest, and we'll continue to do so. So now this is fully automated. And one of the things we learned is that gas refunds cannot happen continuously, right? I think, Jabba, you did some research on this?
Yes. So gas refund cannot be done continuously, simply because that I suppose you're referring to the fact that our refund transactions also cost gas, and therefore.
But I was also referring to the fact that you were finding out that our timing of the refunds
I see.
was leading to jailing of pigeons. So pigeons were ending up in jail, being like, "Bro,
Yes.
I'm in jail.
Yes.
What's going on? Cool, cool." And so I was hoping you
So,
could share us a little bit about that.
oh yeah, absolutely. So obviously we have been observing that some of our validators were getting jailed, and even though we were actively giving refunds to them, so after some inspection, we realized that the jailing, which happens when the balance of a validator falls below 0.05 ETH. So that checking, which means the system looks at the balance and see if it's below that limit, happens continuously, and therefore even though we were actively giving refunds, but we were only doing it once or twice a day, several times a day, occasionally, but we weren't doing it continuously to chase the sort of the balance game. So that's some lesson we learned, and yeah, so I think that sort of started the whole gas analysis.
Yep. So we're learning that, yes. And out of that, another part of piece was we changed policy, right? So we only refund gas is only refunded to validators once a day, and validators need to make, or at least have, more than 0.05 ETH, in their wallets, because if you are refunded, but then there's a high gas consumption transaction, such as an egg mint, because everybody's racing to egg mint, your particular balance falls. And also, we identified that our Go code on Pigeon was not gas optimized for EIP 1559. That was a glaring omission. So because essentially we were writing gas contracts in Go, or gas execution in Go, or transaction execution in Go. So our essentially our Solidity and Viper team had to refactor Pigeon. So we currently have, this is why we have a new tag coming out. Pigeon will now be EIP 11559 compliant in the new release. So this means that this can further optimize gas consumption and reduce gas costs for the entire network. Um, and this is part of what we want to stress test on Ethereum, because then when we move to or deploy to the other EVMs, these things should automatically be implemented. So good news is we'll have a new tag release. We'll have more optimized gas consumption. We will not have pending transactions. So I want to say, St. Game, your your account had like about 20 transactions on it, and was one of the victims of this gas inefficiency. So this optimization should be ready for us to ship. And how do we celebrate this new thing that we will be shipping? We're going to be celebrating it by giving away free gas to the world. All right. We're going to give away free gas. So if you go to palomachain.com, you'll see we changed the website to say free gas. Um, because now we want to further stress test the system, right? Like we want to really take this test net out back and beat it with a bat, just to see how far we can push it, and what sort of demand there is. And the vision, of course, for Paloma is that the validator set not only will always have gas at the ready to execute because it's part of gas management, but we'll be able to get the messages to their destination with the lowest and highly optimized gas functionality possible at the fastest possible time. Okay, so you want to think as Paloma being the only blockchain in the crypto ecosystem that has the unique desire and passion to, one, minimize gas costs for all message senders and minimize latency for all messages that must route. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we're going to stress test this. So we are offering free gas. I'm sorry, I laugh when I say it because I'm like, I kept joking. I'm like, some smart person is going to figure out a way to drain our bank accounts and all our wallets with essentially spending gas as a gas attack. So we're kind of asking ourselves to be under gas attack. But let's talk about how this is supposed to work. Okay. So the way this is going to work is that gas refunds will continue automatically for any messages being sent via Paloma. So currently today, there are two, if you were on Paloma, and you were minting, you were using our egg minting contract, you were minting eggs and the gas was being paid for by Paloma. So we're going to say, hey, we've open sourced, we've open sourced the egg minting contract, right? That's all that stuff is on our repo.
Yes, all that's in our repo, and there's also some hints to it in the documentation, of course. But we can also add the links to the repos in there as well.
Yep. So first of all, Paloma JS. So we're just about finishing on our SDK. So you can, if you want to write in JavaScript or you write in Python, you can use Paloma JS or our SDK to write your own logic. If you want to say, hey, I want to write my own DApp that takes advantage of Paloma's free gas right now to give to my users, you can do that. Now we've made some changes to the documentation where the SDK stuff is now higher up in the get started section. So you don't have to dig for it anymore. You just be like, oh, I can start using this. Which means, yes, you can write JavaScript, and that JavaScript can say, hey, I want to write a new DEX, and all my users of this DEX get gas paid for by Paloma. Can I do that? Yes, you can. You're like, no, you're shitting me. As a pigeon shits on your head, we are totally not shitting you. We are definitely, you can write a DEX. You can write your own front end JavaScript DEX to any, or front end or aggregator, and your users will not pay gas. Gas will be paid for by Paloma. So check out the Python SDK and the JavaScript SDK Paloma JS. It does have some hurdles, right? One, you will need to use a Cosm Wasm contract. So currently, you cannot make direct calls in Paloma to execute transactions for gas as yet. And that's for a particular reason, is that we want to, sort of reduce the surface area of exploit, because we know that it'll be very expensive, this experiment. But what we will say is that you'll have to use a cosmosm contract. Now, if you haven't written cosmosm contract, don't worry. Cosmosm, we have, like, for the egg minting, there's a cosmosm contract for that, as well as for our limit order bot. So we do have templates that you can copy and use. And these are cosmosm Rust-based templates that you can just simply build and extend to execute or to run against the JavaScript and Python SDKs, right? So you write some JavaScript code, it calls and sends a transaction to the Rust code. The Rust code, you hack it a little bit and be like, oh, cool, I can just use this over here, that over here, and yet you are off to the races. But there's one last piece, right? The last and final piece is the target chain. So if you're doing Solidity or if you're doing Viper, you will need to deploy your contracts and then make the Paloma Compass contract the owner, right? So you're going to have to say, okay, great, I have my contracts here. Paloma will be the owner and Paloma will execute, right? So what does that mean? Again, you can look at our contracts for an example. For the egg minting contract, if you want to say, dude, I would like to just do free egg minting for my next campaign, you can use Paloma to do free egg minting today. You could just copy our egg minting contract, or you see that the egg minting contract has an owner. That owner is a Compass EVM contract. That contract is controlled by the validator set, and there you go. So you say, whoa, dude, I could write my own egg minting contract. Yeah, just bring your own. Compass EVM is the owner. Write your front ends however you'd like, and gas is free. The validator set from Paloma will cover your gas fees on Ethereum. For how long? Well, we'll talk about it in a bit. But to start off, that is how you can take advantage of this. And so that's egg minting as an example. Chibai and team has worked on the limit order bot. We've talked about limit order bot before. All the limit order bot is order insertion into Uniswap v3, right? At its core, you're like, Tarek, what can I do with this limit order bot? Why it's so confusing, it's so hard? Well, you want to be able to execute a transaction on a DEX. Uniswap v3 is an example DEX. It's the most complex DEX you could use in the Ethereum space today. So most of the DEX are more simpler. But we have both Viper, which is very easy, Pythonic, and as well as the Cosmosm limit order code that you can use, fork, edit, change, futz with, hack, break up, change around, so that you can then do your own remote order insertions into any EVM, any DEX. But you could say, hey, for now, you want to do Uniswap, you can do Uniswap. You'll have to hack it, think about it if you want to do it for, say, SushiSwap or some others. I think for us right now, these are, very, very basic, simple testing. But yes, it can be used to do more complex stuff. Now, of course, the warning is please do not, although it's free gas on mainnet, we ask people not to use their precious, don't use money that you're not afraid to lose in testing it, because there's no security guarantees on Paloma right now, which means if you run a contract on Paloma to send money to Ethereum to Uniswap, anybody else can run that contract as well, right? So there is a little bit of it's a wild, wild west on Paloma. It's a dark forest, and so you have to be aware that whatever you deploy in Paloma in testing, anybody else can run, because it's a free for all. Even I can run it. So the Cosmosm contracts are there. You can play with them. And then the Solidity Viper contracts are there. You can play with them. And you don't have to spend any gas to do anything on Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain. It's gas free. Gas is on us. Cool. Okay, I'll pause there. Javai, Vera, did I cover everything? Am I complete in what we have on tap for this week?
Complete. Complete.
Complete.
As far as I can tell. Javai?
I think so, and this also sounds pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Like, hey, man, you could, I mean, again, the folks who I think will get this are folks who want to do remote control contract execution and want to do remote contract execution on two chains. So the way I would like to use it is, hey, can I do a remote control simultaneous execution on Pancake Swap and Sushi Swap? Well, what does that mean? Well, can I, essentially see that, if a token on Sushi Swap is trading up, can I then execute buy commands both at the same time when a price has changed? And can I run that on Paloma and get free gas? Yes. So if, Tarot coin on Pancake Swap is going up and Tarot coin on Sushi Swap is going up, can I run one command on Paloma to execute buy orders on both? Right? And then if the buy order is met, can I then execute a sell order on both chains, on both dexes with one contract? And that is what you can do with Paloma, right? So, and that's what we want you to do, and that's what we want to empower you to do, to be able to say, hey, oh shit, I can now do multiple chain simultaneous execution, and I don't have to pay gas for it on either chain. On either chain, right? It's just free. It's just run it, execute it, run it, execute it again. Okay, we're up on time. So how long will this gravy train of gas last? Well, the gas gravy train will last not a long time because we are limited in terms of funds. We're kind of curious to see what people will do. So we have enough funds that if we are exploited, it won't make the news of wrecked. But what we are going to do is we're going to be controlling, sort of moving towards getting towards an estimate of, what gas fees should be like, and especially with these types of simultaneous cross-chain execution planning. So for now, it will last for a little bit, most likely for no more than a week. And at the end of the next week, we'll see whether or not we'll extend it based on consumption, or if people have figured out how to really take full advantage of it. We're still on testnet, so we tell folks, please don't, risk all your capital and important money on this. But we hope that giving everyone free gas on Ethereum, which is expensive, and on Binance Smart Chain, which is annoying, allows them to take full advantage of the Paloma cross-chain execution environment run by Pigeons. Okay, so with that, I think we will wrap up today with our thanks. We will see everybody. We're heading to Lisbon. So Paloma is heading to Lisbon. So please look out for that. Please join us at Cross-Chain Cocktails. For those who joined us at Cross-Chain Cocktails at DevCon in Bogota, thank you. It was a pleasure to see you. We'll see you in Lisbon. And of course, if anybody's heading to ETH India, let us know. We might be also heading to ETH India as well. To our validators who have stuck with us without incentives, but are now keeping their eggs warm, please keep your eggs warm or sell them. And we definitely have more eggs coming. We're excited to share. And thanks again.